morning. Good morning, commissioners. Good morning, staff. And good morning to all listening or viewing. Today, it's my honor to discuss what Lane County government has been up to during these incredibly challenging times, where we are and where we're going. We were looking forward to celebrating in person today. We literally waited until the last possible moment to make the decision and look at the data, which unfortunately tells us another variant of this virus has hit hard. Like everyone else, we've struggled through disappointment to try to do the right thing. So as much as we want and planned to be together with you today, virtual is the only responsible path to take, especially in that Lane County is the county's public health agency. Under these circumstances, my heartfelt appreciation to this year's chair, Commissioner Farr, to this year's vice chair, Commissioner Trieger, and to Commissioner Buck for joining me today out of respect to all county residents. We are not out of the woods, but last year was fundamentally different than 2020. It provided tangible cause and hope as we move into this year, 2022. The county went from being caught in an unanticipated global pandemic to delivering vaccines to those choosing them, providing support to businesses and tenants and landlords, and seeing reopenings across the board, from schools to businesses to sporting and entertainment venues to houses of worship to places and to gyms and health clubs across the county. Lane County staffed incident commands for both the pandemic and wildfire relief. Mind you, neither of these, which have completely reshuffled the decks, were part of the county's service portfolio 2 short years ago. We moved from having been hit without warning by twin crises and now solidly in recovery mode, and big investments are being made on key fronts. First, thank you to my friends and neighbors in Springfield for the opportunity of public service these last few years. And thanks to my fellow commissioners for the honor you placed upon me by unanimously electing me your chair last year. I was humbled then, I am humbled now. These have been strange, difficult, exhausting, and trying times. We have seen the best in us, selfless acts of compassion by countless people and groups, helping families, friends, and neighbors. Sadly, we have also seen frustration fuel incivility and anger by a vocal minority, misdirected to those just trying their hardest to do their best under unbelievably challenging times. Make no mistake, no matter one's political views, we are all COVID fatigued and sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. On the other hand, the essence of character and determination on a personal as well as governmental level is to never give up and to always work hard and find hope and opportunity in difficult and turbulent waters. So this state of the county is not just about county government. It is not just about how we've coped during the past year of perfect storm-like challenges. It is also about the fiber, grit, perseverance, hope, and victories carved and created by those who call my home of Springfield and our county of Lane home. Finally, I'm speaking very much from the heart today. Literally, imagine the day after I was elected county chair 1 year ago, last January 6th, the peaceful transition of power at our nation's capital, historically the hallmark of our democracy, did not occur. The year that followed demonstrated the fragility of this great experiment we call people's self-rule or democracy. We have seen opportunists from different political extremes use the anxiousness that all of us have felt to fuel their own, sometimes divisive agendas. But meanwhile, the reality is we are in this together. We've had children to raise, businesses to run, vulnerable among us to support, businesses to keep afloat, families to care for, and life to resume. This has required a special combination of individual responsibility and organizational transformation supported with direct service from our county government. The job of nonpartisan government is not to be distracted by noise, which there has been some of, but to focus on solutions, on results that make life as good as possible for as many as possible. Throughout, I've been consistently reminded of the wartime quote by Winston Churchill: "If you're going through hell, keep on going." That's exactly what this Board of Commissioners, what you all, again, thank you, what this Board of Commissioners and this county staff have done, which reminds me of another quote, especially timely given tonight's National College Football Championship game, because this is from Alabama coach Nick Saban. "One thing about championship teams is they are resilient. No matter what's thrown at them, no matter how deep the hole, they find a way to bounce back and overcome adversity." And that's exactly what I have seen and been witness to our county team doing, working with coalitions and individuals, putting action and healing above words and divisiveness. And now, we're able to move from being overwhelmed and reacting to crises to getting ahead of them, preventing or mitigating or somewhat controlling them and our own destiny. And by so doing, we are now in a position to be creating personal and economic stability and opportunity. This is the essence of my remarks today. But I can't go any further without expressing gratitude on behalf of myself and the entire Board of Commissioners. Thank you to frontline healthcare workers who, despite having families with needs that they have to attend to, work long and beyond exhausting hours to keep us safe. To our county workers who work in our clinics and treatment centers, working with unhoused people who have been sick, to the nurses and doctors and professionals at Mackenzie, Willamette, and Peace Health hospitals, and the many private medical groups, clinics, and pharmacies. We thank you. Thank you, Lane County Human Service workers, who prevented 4,500 county households from eviction by helping with their rent and keeping their landlords whole this last year. Thank you, county behavioral service workers, for making 51,000 visits, many virtual, since COVID began. Thank you, county workforce workers, for helping 4,000 of our neighbors and friends get work or stay at work during COVID. Thank you, youth service workers, for maintaining COVID safety protocols so that there were zero outbreaks in our detention facilities. Thank you, county parole and probation officers, who dealt with an influx of prison commutation releases to Lane County and 100 additional parolee releases. Kind of unbelievable. Thank you to the county sheriff and jail staff for providing almost 8,000 COVID tests and 450 vaccines to adults in custody, incentivizing vaccines for eligible inmates, and all the other ways you kept us safe no matter what. And thank you, COVID-19 County Incident Command, for delivering over 200,000 vaccinations. Let me say that again. In this last year, over 200,000 vaccinations with the assistance of an unbelievable group of volunteers. And all the while, providing housing for the homeless with COVID, and providing groceries and meds to low-income families in quarantine or isolation. And treating those, treating everyone, but especially those who have been historically excluded, with the utmost of respect and dignity that we all deserve. This included hundreds of mobile clinics, pop-up clinics, and clinics in partnership with the Eugene Springfield NAACP, Centro Latino Americano, area schools and school districts, and others. I have received, and from what I've heard by fellow commissioners, we have received nothing but praise from users of county vac sites about the friendliness, the customer service, and the professionalism of the entire operation and their experience. And finally, to the unsung heroes who have worked every day to keep our communities safe, from retail clerks and store managers, service workers and truck drivers who help us stay stocked with critical medicine, goods, and supplies, those who keep facilities clean and operational, those who kept their businesses open following COVID protocols. And we simply can't forget the educators and teachers who have tirelessly worked under the most difficult of circumstances to keep our children, our future, connected and engaged. The list goes on and on and on. You all individually deserve and have our heartfelt gratitude and appreciation. Here's a short video that tells a bit more of the county's story this last year. All of us who live and work in Lane County, 2021 has been a huge challenge, but it's also been full of opportunity. As we're moving out of 2021, what we're doing is we're now moving from reacting to all of us who live and work in Lane County, 2021 has been a huge challenge, but it's also been full of opportunity. As we're moving out of 2021, what we're doing is we're now moving from reacting to these huge crises that impacted everyday life to getting in front of them, and to getting in front of them with investments that relate to resiliency and support and opportunity, not just for a few of us, but for all of us. You know, there's no way in a short video we can talk about everything the county's been engaged in. If you just think about COVID and support to local businesses, support to renters, support to landlords, I mean, it's just so ubiquitous. But what we can do, and I've asked a few people that can speak to some of the critical progress we've made in 4 areas that are very dear to my heart: housing, public health in the face of this damn pandemic, fire recovery, and supporting our local economy through thick and thin, and that means its people and its businesses.
We know that one of the most effective solutions to end homelessness is permanent supportive housing. And so in Lane County, we've worked with our partners at Homes for Good and others in the community to make significant investments over the past several years in increasing the stock of permanent supportive housing. We've actually opened over 111 units of permanent supportive housing in Lane County over the past year, and we have another 50 on the horizon. Some of those projects are the Commons at MLK, a 51-unit permanent supportive housing facility for chronically homeless individuals at Lane County's Behavioral Health Campus. The Keystone Project at 13th and Tyler, also on Lane County property, and that provides permanent supportive housing for 15 families. The Nell at 1100 Charlton will provide 45 units of permanent supportive housing for individuals. And Lane County also acquired the former Red Lion Hotel, now called Bridges on Broadway. It's providing 50 units of housing for fire survivors from the Holiday Farm fire. After that, our plan is to convert that facility into permanent supportive housing for homeless individuals in our community. We've worked aggressively to rapidly rehouse over 300 individuals in our community. We provided over $33 million in financial support to avoid evictions, and we've increased our street outreach to support others that are providing services to our homeless population in our community. All of these efforts are critical at stopping the cycle of homelessness and reducing the number of people that are unhoused in our community. We'll continue to work with our partners throughout Lane County to increase those investments over the course of the next several years.
First week in 2021, we got our first shipment of a COVID-19 vaccine. It was Moderna, which was very exciting, and there were 800 doses, which meant we could begin vaccinating our healthcare workforce in Lane County. There are 313,000 adults living in Lane County, and so to be able to vaccinate at that scale, we really needed some very robust partnerships. So we reached out to our hospitals and other provider groups. We worked very closely with search and rescue from the Sheriff's Office. We also talked with the University of Oregon and Lane Community College, and they were terrific partners. That was only possible because of those partnerships. And then by the third week in January, which is really pretty extraordinary, we were able to launch the first mass vaccine clinic at Lane Event Center. And we could not have done that if we hadn't had a just tremendous group of volunteers. Then by the end of 2021, Lane County Public Health had delivered 200,000 vaccinations, which really is extraordinary.
The community benefits bidding, we call it a process, is a program that we implemented about a year and a half ago, and it aligns with the county's strategic plan as far as entering into contracts for major building construction contracts that provides full family health coverage at no cost share for the employees, also a living wage, and then also the contractors have to have an active apprenticeship program. And the goal is really to give back to the communities, so we're hiring more local contractors to do our construction contracts. Our local contractors have all been extremely supportive and reaching out. The first project that we implemented this on was the renovation of the new parole and probation building that's located out on Highway 99 and Roosevelt Boulevard. The second project that we implemented this on was our developmental disability services building. So it's exciting that we have taken this on and able to implement it to better not only the community, but the working conditions.
I think we can be proud of the work that both Land Management Division has done, but also the support that they've had from the Board of Commissioners, who authorized 7 new positions in the Land Management Division. Those positions are doing land use planning, building code implementation, as well as hiring a permit navigator, which is an individual whose whole focus is to work with property owners to help them navigate the complex permitting process. This is Lane County's first major disaster recovery, and so to be candid, it has been a challenge. We're learning a lot about how to best support recovery of a rural community, and there are some real challenges involved. There's a really talented team of people doing their best to bring all the support we can to help this community that's been affected by a disastrous wildfire get back on their feet.
In 2022, in addition to continuing the county's commitment to housing in whatever creative ways we can generate support to provide shelter for all, the county is also opening its first public shelter and navigation center at what was formerly a VA clinic on River Avenue. Another focus will be wisely investing American Recovery Act dollars that Lane County is allocated and will be competing for. Additionally, we will continue to work towards assuring that Lane County services are delivered in a way that's appropriate and accessible, especially to members of communities that have been historically excluded. COVID and wildfires kind of reshuffled the deck for all of us. But I want to assure you that this county has learned from the lessons, is turning challenges into opportunities, is expanding our service portfolio in critical areas, and has a real bias for action to improve lives. You know, up until a week ago, we thought this room would have several hundred people in it. We were looking forward to a color guard from a local high school. We were going to be honoring some whose shoulders we stand on. And we were going to be honoring others who are just taking Lane County to new heights. Those individuals know who they are, and I'll be personally delivering awards that the county provides, thanking people for their passion to serve, but we have to skip over that for this presentation. You know, county government played a role in so many lives this last year. I mean, there's no way to underscore that. Think about it. Whether facilitating over $8 million for business relief, $33 million in federal and state funding for rent relief, keeping renters and landlords whole, $22 million for our partners upriver, rebuilding from the fire, and more. But think about this. For every dollar that the county has secured from outside sources, those are dollars being injected into our local economy. They are not just responding to needs, which is their point, but they are also recirculating through our economy and helping capitalize all of us in one way or another. Another example, one I'm proud of, the Patrician Manufactured Home Park in Springfield. With Homes for Good, we intervened and saved 86 families living there from potentially being kicked to the streets due to a sale of the park and development of the property. County intervention enabled residents time to buy the park for themselves and create a cooperative, bringing millions into our economy and allowing self-ownership. They own and operate the Filbert Grove Cooperative and never have to worry about potential homelessness again. And why do I mention this? There are 108 manufactured home parks in Lane County. Think about that, just in Lane County. And I, along with commissioners and Homes for Good and state legislators, are going to work to make sure, taking the lessons we learned from saving the Patrician for its residents, and make sure residents of all of these parks have the option of self-ownership when their parks come for sale. That is a big deal. Businesses have reopened and are reopening. New business is locating here. Developments are breaking ground. The University of Oregon has a record freshman class. It is impossible not to notice the growth and building taking place. We see smart action by this county to decrease the carbon footprint of county government while creating jobs and committing to a more full employment, net neutral Lane County in the 2040s. And let me give you just one example of what this means. Imagine Lane County putting sewer and water infrastructure between Springfield and Short Mountain, the county landfill, or as some would say, the county dump. No more tankers on our roads hauling leachate from the landfill for treatment. Less gas, less congestion, greater safety. Transforming Short Mountain, county government's greatest carbon emitter, from just a landfill to a recycling and waste to energy hub. As I speak, we are developing partnerships with local business to do just that. They are looking at investing tens of millions of private dollars to create hundreds of jobs to install and operate machinery and processes separating metals from plastics, from paper, from glass, from organics, etc., that now go into the landfill and rerouting them to markets for recycling. And investment in digesters that, through a pretty extensive engineering process, but nonetheless, create clean energy out of the methane emitted by organics. Private investment, long-term good-paying local jobs, decreasing carbon emissions, generating clean energy. What is there not to like? And that is just one example of what's on the drawing board right now and not more than a few years away. We are committed to broadband for every part of this county and increased telehealth options, even as we increase the number of clinics Lane County operates. Affordable, accessible broadband, affordable, accessible healthcare. Those are big deals. We're moving in that direction aggressively. We are transforming, and I don't take that word lightly like some, we are transforming the role of government, not by talking, but by doing. I introduced and the board passed a community benefits program. It works. This county now prioritizes and moves money to local contractors and local businesses who pay living wages, hire local people, commit to workforce equity, provide full family health coverage, are enrolled in registered apprenticeship programs, and buy their supplies and equipment from other local businesses. Moving money locally. The Community Benefits Program adds renewable energy, energy efficiency, and storage to these jobs, all of this without raising $1 of new taxes. Now, bipartisan legislation has passed Senate Bill 420. Please note I said bipartisan. And it makes this procurement option available to every city, every county, every school district, every water district, every state agency in Oregon, all thanks to Lane County's Board of Commissioners, to Lane County staff, and to Lane County's partnership with the local building trades and local contractors. To sum up, we are determined to confront problems head-on, adapt to new realities, and move forward in 2022 and beyond. So, let us all take heart and recommit to each other, united, not divided, focusing on mutual respect, responsibilities, and results, not ideology or partisanship or rhetoric. In the words of Nelson Mandela, the former president of South Africa and Nobel Peace Prize winner, quote, "Our human compassion binds us the one to the other, not in pity or patronizingly, but as human beings who have learned to turn our common suffering and challenges into hope for the future," end quote. As we advance from crisis into opportunity, let us move with the will to succeed, with tolerance, and with goodwill and compassion to all. Commissioners, thank you so much. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you.